Good evening. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm well. Good to see you this week.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Why don't we get started? You tell me, how was your week?
It's been okay. Some good, some bad, but okay overall.
Okay, overall. Okay, why don't we jump into the good? Tell me some good things that happened.
Sure. I've been hanging a lot. I've been hanging out a lot more with my friends, so that's been good. Getting out of the house, just doing other things. I've been saying yes more.
Been saying, okay. What are you normally doing when you hang out? How are you feeling?
Oh, good. It's usually girls' night. Sometimes it's, mixed, but usually it's girls. We get together, have food, sometimes drink, sometimes not. Girl talk. We watch our shows,
Okay.
whatever night, whatever corresponding shows that night.
Got it.
Yeah.
How is our gambling?
I think for the first time in a long time, I did not gamble this week.
No gambling at all. That's good, right?
I wanted to.
Okay. When did you want to
I
gamble?
didn't. Wednesday.
Wednesday. What happened?
I got off work and I went home and I just didn't have anything else to do. And it was boring and I was just home thinking.
Okay, let's stay there for a minute. Let's focus in on that. You said you went home and you were just thinking. What are some of the thoughts that you have while you sit at home after you get off of work on a Wednesday night?
I have failed.
You failed.
Yes, I know I'm young, but when I get together with my friends and I hear about all of the stuff that they're doing, and I go to their houses and I don't have anything of my own except my car, it's like, what am I doing? So I just feel terrible sometimes, especially when I have time to think about it.
Okay, and so why did you not gamble?
I thought I would try, put forth some effort. So I went to sleep instead. I don't know how much better that is, but it's not gambling.
So I would often ask you earlier in our sessions, in our prior sessions, how do you feel when you're gambling? I guess the question that I was trying to ask is, what is it that brings you to gamble? How do you feel before you gamble? This is, what I would like to focus in on. You said, I heard you just say that you felt terrible when you got off from work, and you feel terrible because you don't have certain things, right? Okay, so what are your thoughts on just about yourself? Like, you said you didn't go gamble this time, but you wanted to. Is this something that normally brings you to gamble?
Yeah.
Okay. And how can we, and we have we minimized that, like, throughout the process of these sessions? We have taken notes, we've had note cards, we've talked about our hot thoughts and changing the narrative. The second that you start to think, oh, I'm not good, or oh, I failed, or so now what I want to talk about and work on is giving you some perspective on how to break from your thought. Like, before I wanted you to change, oh, I shouldn't think this. This time, if the thought comes into mind and it's something that you have a lot of time on your hands and you're dwelling on it, then don't necessarily change the thought, but just, I want you to be able to differentiate. You are not the thought. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, I'm not feeling it.
Right, you are not a failure, right? That is a thought that you have.
But I'm not it.
And but that is not who you are.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I wanna focus in on that this time. I'm not gonna give you any homework. Instead, I want to do a exercise with you right here.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So this is a visualization technique. What I want you to do, I want you to close your eyes. Okay. And imagine that you are just getting off from work, and you're going home. Nobody's home, and you have nothing to do. What are some of the thoughts that come to mind right now?
I want something to do.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I didn't have the job that I have. I wish I was going to my own place. I suck.
Okay. You can open your eyes now. Okay, so I have here, you wish you didn't have the job you had. You wish you were you wish you were going to your own place, and you suck. Okay, so now, let's take these thoughts. This is something that you have when you go home. I want you to close your eyes again, and I want you to visualize that you're out at girls' night, and you're with your friends who like you. They enjoy spending time with you. They enjoy talking about their shows with you. I want you to visualize all the applications you put in over these past few weeks. That was one of our goals, was putting in applications and working on that to get a new job. I want you to visualize being able to, after obtaining the new job, being able to afford your own place. Now, what do you think? How do you feel? How does your perspective of yourself change with these things?
Open my eyes or keep my eyes?
You can open them.
Okay. Oh, that feels good. Sounds good. I think towards the end of what you're saying, when I see it in my head, I think, oh, I've accomplished some things,
Mm-hmm.
And being with my friends, that feels good. Feels, like I just think, I love them. Like, this is great. And a great way to spend my time. I don't know, made me happy. I was thinking happy.
Right. Okay, so, but you see how the narrative changed. The person didn't change. The narrative changed, about how you felt about yourself. So in whatever it is that you're doing, you may have, something where you don't feel like you're as strong in this area, or you're not successful in this area. Some of the things that I named in the second part of the exercise are things that you haven't done yet. Some you have done yet. Some you have done. So being able to visualize yourself in in what you see as successful is part of the key. You see how your mood changed once you were able to do that. So I want you to just focus in on that. Focus on the positive things that you are doing, to get where you like to be. Focus on the positive things that you have done in order, that put you in a place that you are. When you originally came in, let's just to do a quick review. When you originally came in, you said you were gambling 4 or 5 times a week. Your parents told you, hey, you have to change, otherwise we're going to cut you off financially. How do you feel like you have grown since then? Because you gambled none this week. You thought about it, but you gambled none this week.
Yeah, I feel like I have had a lot of growth. I have thought about things I've never thought about before.
Okay.
So I think I'm a little bit more open to new things and just going places I haven't gone, and doing things I haven't done before. So I feel like I've grown. I'm so proud of myself that I haven't gambled this week. So
It's big. It feels good, right?
yeah.
Exactly. A lot of times, all we need is that that one thing to continue to push us to keep going on. I will give you, this is a relational piece about myself. I, like anybody else, have my own struggles, and getting here to the point where I could sit and talk with you about just your issues or things that you may be struggling with. I had to struggle to get here, and sometimes I wonder, am I doing a good job? And I just mean that in the sense of I feel like I always could be doing more. So you'll find that once you accomplish your goals, because I am accomplished in some lights, that you set more and you set a higher standard for yourself, and you wonder, oh, could I do this better? Could I do that better? But it's important not to second guess yourself and just be encouraged in where you are currently. So now I'd like to talk about where you see your future self. Can you give me some future goals that you could put up somewhere that you could strive to reach? I think I know a couple, but I'm gonna let you explain. Give me 3 or 4 goals.
Okay, so I want to continue not gambling. I want to find a better job suited better to my interests, however you can say that.
Mm-hmm.
Save up to have my own place.
Okay. And you remember all of these can be attainable through, just little things that we've talked about throughout the course of our sessions here. When you get up, agenda, say have your weekly planner. You're not the thought. You have to be able to differentiate, when it's a bad day, when it's a good day. A thought chart, map out what it is that that you've been thinking about yourself this week, what is good and how you can keep that going. And also your note cards. You remember we talked about your note cards, and so I feel like once you put all of these pieces together, you'll be able to successfully continue to go out and not gamble, and have time that you spend constructively with friends and family and things of that nature. Speaking of, the last piece that I wanted to touch on today was your how are things with your parents?
Well, they're really happy with me this week. I'm sure they noticed, but I also did tell them what I didn't. We have one on this week, so I'm sure they feel like they are seeing progress with this whole process too. So things have been good.
Good. That is good to hear. How does it and how does that make you feel that they are, it sounds like they're proud of you?
Yeah, it's support. It feels good to be supported. I feel like they're on my side in my corner.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid to let them down now.
Oh, see, that's that new expectation that I'm talking about. You feel like they have an expectation of you now.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, great. Well, it's good to see you in better spirits. I'm glad that I could help you on your journey, and if you take what you got from here, I think you'll do all right.
Well, thank you for your time.
All right, it's been a pleasure, Sabrina. Thank you. All right. And